in introducing the chain rule, let us discuss first what the chain rule proof wants to tell us. So, y is a function of u, which is the fundamental of x. And we want to figure out the derivative of this. So we're going to differentiate this with respect to x. Now, we could write this as the derivative of y over respect to x. And which is going to be equals to derivative of y over respect to u times the derivative of u over respect to x. This is what the chain rule tells us, but how are we going to actually prove it? Well, we just have to remind ourselves that the derivative of y with respect to x is equals to limit as delta x approaches 0 of change in y over change in x. Now we can do a little bit of algebraic manipulation here to begin to introduce the change in u. So this is just going to be the same as this, which is equals to limit as delta x approaches 0. Change in y over change in u. I would just gonna rewrite this times the change in u over change in x. So this right here is just going to be numbers, as you can see. So the change in u will be just gonna be cancelled. But before we're gonna do that, we have to rewrite this. Okay, wait. So we're just gonna write this by parenthesizing this. So limit as delta x approaches 0 and change delta y over delta u times the limit as delta x approaches 0 delta u over delta x. So what does this simplify? In order this to be true, we are assuming that y and u are differentiable at x or continuous at x. Again, we will just going to get back right here. As I said earlier, this will be just going to be numbers. So our change in u will be just cancelled. So you will be left with change in y over change in x, which is what we have exactly right here. And now we're just going to rewrite this right here. So what does this simplify? In order this to be true, we are assuming that y and u are differentiable at x, means that they are continuous at x. But if u is differentiable at x, then this limit exists. And this is the derivative of du dx, which is what we have right here. Now this one right here, we can quite call this dy du, because this is the limit as delta x approaches 0, not delta u approaches 0. Then we have just to remind ourselves that if we have a function u that is continuous at point that as delta x approaches 0, so we can actually write this instead of saying delta x approaches 0, that's just going to have the effect because u is differentiable at x, which means continuous at x. That means delta u is going to approach 0. We're just gonna rewrite this oops, L to U approaches 0. As our change in x gets smaller and smaller, our change in u is going to get smaller and smaller. So we can write this as delta u approaches 0. So our change in u will be called as dy over du, which is what we exactly have right here. So just like that, we've just shown that y is a function of u, which is a function of x, in a fairly simple way algebra here, and using some assumptions about differentiability and continuity. That it is indeed the case that the derivative of y with respect to x is equals to the derivative of y with respect to u times the derivative of u with respect to x. So today we will explain how to use the product rule for derivation. So our given is y equals 4x plus 3 squared. For the first step, we will write the given, which is this one. Then we will add this derivative by x and y equals 4x plus 3 squared derivative 4x plus 3x squared plus 4x plus 3 squared derivative 4x plus 3 squared. Then, the first formula you need to be is the derivative of composition function, which is this one. So, after we write the formula, we will proceed to the next step, which is we will get this number because the number it comes with has no exponent. So we will write this, then we will remove the number that has no exponent, which is this one, the 3, and this one. So we will write this, which 4x plus 3 squared. Then this one, the 4x, because that number has exponent, times 4. Then we will get the same for this one, plus 4x plus 3 squared. Then we will write also the 4 because it's 4. So the next step, we will multiply the 4 times 4 and 3 times 4, this one. 4 times 4, which is 16, and 3 times 4 is 12. So we will copy the sign, which is plus 12. Then we will do the same process for this one, which is plus. We will copy the sign again. Then 4 times 4, which is 16. We will copy also the sign, which is x, 16x. Then this one, 3 times 4 is 12. And then we will copy again the sign. Then 12. Then after that, after we multiply the number, we will combine the number with and without exponent, which is 16 and 16 and 12. We will combine 16x plus 16x plus 12 and plus 12. Then after that, we will add this, which is 16 plus 16 is 32 plus 12 plus 12 is 24, which is, this is the answer, 32x plus 12.
So in example number 2, we have 2x plus 5 squared. So we're going to distribute the examples because of the squared. Then we're going to do the FOIL method. 2x times 2x, then 2x times 2x and 5 times 2x. Then 2x times 5, 5 times 5. So we're going to multiply the 2x times 2x. So the answer is 4x squared. And then 5 times 2 is equals to positive 10x. Then 2x times 5 is equals to positive 10x. Then 5 times 5 is equals to 25. So in this one, we're going to add this 10x plus 10x. So the answer is 20x. Then we're going to bring down this to 4x squared positive 20x, then positive 25. So we're going to derive 4x squared plus 20x plus 25. So first we're gonna multiply 4 times 4 times 2 is 8x. And then we're going to multiply 20 times x because of the equivalent of x is 1. So 20 times x is 20. And we're going to cancel the constant. And then the final answer is this. 8x plus 20.
Hey everyone, my name is Mr. Nagampa and this is example number 3 using chain rule. So I'm here to demonstrate to you guys how to use chain rule, and I have an example right here. It says y equals 8x plus 5 raised to 2. So how do we solve this? Well, by using the chain rule, we first need to do this. We need to copy the exponent right here, 2, and then we put that up front here. And then we just need to copy 8x plus 5, then 2 again. But we need to subtract this by 1. Then derivative of 8x plus 5. So this kind of like our solution right here. 2 times 8x plus 5 times the derivative of 8x plus 5. And after we solve that, this is what we're gonna look like. After we solve that, this is how it's gonna look like. So 2 times 8x plus 5 times 8. So let me break it down to you guys, or let me break it up to you guys. You might be wondering why isn't there a 1 right here? Because it's supposed to be 2 minus 1, so there should probably be 1 right here. Well, we don't really need to put 1 there because it's already 1. Like this is already 1. We don't need to indicate it again because it's already 1. So it's automatically a 1 thing. And then the derivative of 8x plus 5 is 8. So what do we do next? What do we do next? What we do next is multiply 2 by 8. So 2 times 8 is 16. 8x plus 5. So this is the second last step. We just need to multiply 16 by 8x plus 5. 16 times 8 is 124x. 16 times 5 is 80. So plus 80. And then this is our final answer. So we were able to solve y equals 8x plus 5 raised to 2 by using the chain rule. And our answer is 124x plus 80. Alright, so this is example number 4. We're still applying the chain rule, but this is another example. So if you could trace the difference here, obviously from last time, this is a different number. But most importantly, the exponent is, instead of number 2, it's number 3. So this change could actually bring major differences in how we solve this by using chain rule. But we really start off similarly from last time. So we copy the exponent and then we put it in front. And then, we copy 5x minus 3, and 3 minus 1, and then 5x, derivative of 5x minus 3. So, we just need to solve this, and let's do it like last time. So after solving that, we have 3 times 5x minus 3 raised to 2 times 5. And like last time, all we need to do is multiply 3, or the number here, by the number here. So 3 times 5 is 15. Then we copy this. 5x minus 3 raised to 2. And that is our answer. So, you might be wondering, Mr. Naglampa, I thought it's gonna be quite different. Well, the only difference here is it's one step less. Like, well, because we can have another answer here answer by expanding our first answer, and I will teach you how to do that. But I already know that Miss Saito, my classmate, has already taught the expanding method. So I'm only gonna like reteach it. So our answer is 15, and then 5x minus 3 raised to 2. How do we expand this? Well, we need to multiply 5x minus 3 to itself. So we need to multiply 5x minus 3 times 5x minus 3. Then it's gonna be quite easy right now. From now on, it's gonna be quite easy because we just need to multiply 5 times 5. 5x times 5x is 25x squared. And then 5x minus or times negative 3 is negative 15. And then we move to this one right here. Negative 3 times 5x is negative 15x. Sorry, I forgot to add the x here, but this is 15x. So we put that below the one with the same amount of x's. So then we need to multiply negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. So positive 9, and then just bring this down, and then add 15. Negative 15 times negative 15 is negative 30x. Plus 9. But we're not done yet, because we still need to multiply this by 15. So let's multiply this by 15. So I'm gonna get my trusty calculator because this is too complex for me to solve by myself. So 15 times 25 is 375. So I'm gonna put the answer right here. X squared. Alright, let's not forget about the x's. And then 15 times negative 30x. 15 times, 15 times negative 30. It's gonna be minus 450x. And then lastly, 15 times 9 is 135. Plus 135. And this is our answer. 375x squared minus 450x plus 135. And yeah, that's how we use chain rule if we have an exponent with 2 or 3. And thank you for listening.
Hello. This is what we're going to do. This two is going this on the front. Then ito ang kakalabasan. X squared minus 2 squared plus 3 that. And then next 2, 6, 3 minus 2x plus 3 and then kapirman natin ulit. X 2 plus 3. Yan. Ganyan ang kakalabasan. Then wait. Then ang mangyayari dyan ay 2 minus 2x plus 3. Ang mangyayari naman dito ay times natin siya. 6 times 3 is 18. X, yung nangyari dyan, mababawasan siya ng isa. 3 minus 1 is 2. Yan, ganun din mangyari dito. Wala yan. May visible 1 pala yan dyan. Visible 1 dito. Yan. Yung nangyari dyan, 2 times 1 is 1. Ay, 2. 2 pala. Di mawala na yung x dyan. Tapos yan na. Sa final answer naman ay ito ay lalagay natin sa unahan. Then this is copy. Yan. This is the final answer. Sana naintindihan nyo ng maayos.
For example, let's say the given is y is equals to x squared minus 6 with a function of 1 over 2. What we're going to do first is put the derivatives dy over dx equals to, we'll put the 1 over 1 half the product. Then we'll get this given 8x squared minus 6. And with that, we'll just stop with this. So 1 over 2. And derivative. And we'll also copy this one. X. 8x squared minus 6. What we will do first is minus the 1 to the 1 over 2. How we're going to do that is divide. 1 is this other. In fraction form is 1 over 1. So 1 over 2, 1 over 1. What we're going to do first is times the, if multiply the 2, it is 1 over 1. We multiply, it will become 1 over 2 minus 2 over 2. We will minus this. So we will subtract 1 and 2. So our exponent is 1 over negative because 2 is higher than 1. Let's move to the next. 1 over 2, 8x squared minus 6. And exponent, negative 1 over 2. Negative 1 over 2. And let's simplify this. So 8x squared minus 6 will become 2 times 6, 2 times 8, 16x. We'll multiply 1 over 2 to 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 8. We'll just copy this. 8x squared minus 6. And also the negative 1 over. So, let's find the alternate answer. We'll alternate answer. Or we find the we get an alternative answer. We'll bring this one. But instead of parentheses, we'll put a square root sign because this exponent. So it will be 8x squared minus 6. And the numerator is 8. 8x. That's the negative one. For example number 5, let's say the given is 3x to the raised to the power of 5 minus 7 to over 3. So what we're going to do first is, what we do to the example number 4, x is equal to 2 over 3, bring this down, 3x raised to the power of 5 minus 7, and 2 over 3, we just copy this as well, and minus 1 with derivative, copy this 3x to the power of 5, raised to the power of 5 minus 7. What we're going to do is, we're going to subtract this. So, 2 over 3 minus 1 over 1. Multiply this first. So, 2 over 3 minus 3 over 3. 3 minus 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Half in the denominator 3. Negative 1 over 3. So, negative 1 over 3. Up 3 is down. 7. 3 raised to the power 3. X raised to the power 5. 3 is down. 2 over 3. And we're gonna simplify this one. So 3 times 5 is 15 x raised to the power of 4. What we're gonna do now is we'll multiply the numerator to 15 x raised to the power of 4. So the answer is gonna be 30 x raised to 4. And what we're gonna do with this one is we'll do like with 3 on as the denominator. We'll bring this one down 3x raised to the power 5 minus 7. So yeah, this is the answer. But for the alternative answer, what we're gonna do is, or we'll just copy this one. But what we're gonna do, like on the example number 4, we'll put a square root sign. But because this is 3x the denominator, it's gonna be 3 squared. And we'll copy this one. 3x raised to the power 5 minus 7. And this and 30x raised to the power 4 as numerator. So this will be the alternative answer.
So let's begin with our example number 6, which is y is equals to square root of 5x minus 2. As we can see, our example is only a radical expression, so that we can we have to convert it into a exponential form so that we can use the chain rule. It's like this. if you're going to ask where did we get the 1/2 exponent, it is because of there's a rule that we think is right. So for example, we have a x raised by 1 over n. This example is also equals to n root of x. So let's give another example, which is x raised by 1 over 3. So this one is equals to the cube root of x. So this is one of the rules that we should follow when using chain rule. So let's go back to our topic. Now, in order to get the derivative, we have to use our formula, which I think is n multiplied by x raised by n minus 1 multiplied by the derivative of x. Now we have to find the n, which is 1/2. Then next, our x, which is 5x minus 2. And then n 1/2 subtract by 1 multiplied by the derivative of x. Now, how are we going to get the derivative of 5x minus 2? First, we have to multiply the whole number to its variable exponent, which is 1. So 5 multiplied by 1 is 5. Then next, we have to subtract 1 into the variable. But then, since the variable only had 1, we don't have to include it. The next, 2. Since 2 doesn't have a variable, we don't also have to include it. So the derivative of 5, the derivative of 5x minus 2 is 5. Now, let's simplify it by first looking at our exponent. As you can see, our exponent is a fraction. And how are we going to subtract a fraction with a whole number? So first, we need to write our whole number into a fraction. Then now, we need to find their LCM, the denominator's LCM. As you can see, when we start counting at 2, it will be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And if we're going to start counting at 1, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now, their LCM is, it will be 2. So let's just multiply it by 2. Now, we already get the answer, which is 2 over 2. As you can see, our denominator is already the same. So, we just need to subtract our numerator, which is negative 1 over 2. So now, this is our exponent. So, 1/2 multiplied by 5x minus 2 raised by negative 1, negative 1/2, multiplied by the derivative of x. So let's proceed to our next step, which is we need to multiply our derivative, the derivative of x into our numerator, which is 1. So 5 multiplied by 1 is 5. Now, as we can see, our denominator denominator 2 can be multiplied by everything. So we can use it as the denominator. So of x plus 2 is by negative 1 over 2 all over 2. Now, this is not yet our final answer because our exponent is on negative sign. So, to convert it into a positive sign, we just need to bring it down just like this. Now, this is our final answer. And if you're going to ask why our given x is on a exponential form, then when we bring it down, it will become radical expression. It is because, as I said earlier, when x raised by n is also equivalent by the root of n root of x, just like this one. Also, cube root of x. So, once we bring it down, our exponent become negative. Positive. So, this sign also represent as a square root or our exponent. That's all. So now, let's proceed to our next example, which is y is equals to cube root 3x plus 5. So, our first step is we need to convert our radical expression into a exponential form, which is 3x plus 5 raised by 1/3. Now, our second step is we need to use our formula, which is n multiplied by x raised by n minus 1 multiplied by the derivative of x. Now, our n is going to be 1/3. Then our x, which is 3x plus 5. Then our n minus 1 multiplied by the derivative of our x, which is 3x plus 5. So, let's simplify our given. So, what is the derivative of our x, which is 3? Now, turn our exponent, subtracting our exponent fraction, with whole number. So, as I said earlier, we need to write our whole number into a fraction form. So, as we can see, they don't have the same denominator. So, we need to find their LCM, which is 3. So, multiplied it by 3, and then, let's subtract our fraction since we already have the same denominator. So 1 minus 3 is negative 2. And then just copy our denominator. So this is now our exponent. So negative 2/3. So let's just write down our x and our coefficient. So next, our next step is we need to multiply our, the derivative of our x into the numerator. And as I said earlier, our denominator 3 can be multiplied by everything. So we can just write it as, let's multiply the derivative of our x, which is 3, into the numerator first. So 3. And now,
let's just copy our x, which is 3x plus 5 raised by negative 2 third. So, R3 can be, since our 3, denominator 3 can be multiplied by everything, we can just write it as all over 3. Now, since they have the same number, we can cancel them out. Like this. So, what we have now is 3x plus 5 raised by negative 2 third. Now, since our given is in a exponential form, we need to turn it into a radical expression. Just like this one. As I said earlier, x raised by n is also equals to the n root of x. Now, we can turn our exponential form into a radical form, just like this. X plus 5 is 2. Now, we used to write it as a radical expression. It is because our exponent is on a negative sign. So, we just move it down to make it a positive sign. That's all.
For our example number 10, we have our given right here that is trinomial and square root. Now, before we start, we have to rewrite this given, which is parentheses 10x squared plus 4x plus 2, and the equivalent of our square root is 1/2. Now, again, using our formula, which is the derivative of y with respect to x. Now, this one right here, 1/2, will be multiplied on our given. So, this will be written right here, which is 1/2 times 10x squared minus 4x plus 2, and then 1/2 minus 1, and then the deviation of our given, which is 10x squared minus 4x plus 2. Yes. Before we head on evaluating this, we have to answer this first. What is 1/2 minus 1? Now, 1 will be equal to 2 over 2, which is equals to 1. And then for our denominator, we're just going to copy it. And then 1 minus 2 is equals to negative 1. So our answer is negative 1/2. Then we can evaluate this given. First, we're going to copy this. 1/2 times 10x squared minus 4x plus 2, negative 1/2. And our deviation for this is 10 times 2, 20. And for our x squared will be just x, because our exponent 2 minus 1 will be just 1, imaginary 1 right here. And then for our negative 4x plus 2 will be just negative 4. Then, for our final answer, we were just gonna copy this for our numerator, 20x minus 4. And for our denominator, what is our denominator? You can see right here, which is 2. Gonna put that parenthesis for our given. Right here, 10x squared minus 4x plus 2, negative 1/2. Or for another answer, we're just going to write 10x. Now, what is negative 4x minus negative 1/2? From your calculator, you can type this. So the answer will be negative 2. Why negative 2? Because our sign right here is negative over the square root of our given right here. 10x squared minus 4x plus 2. So this will be your final answer. So that's how you solve for the trinomial that is square root.
So now let's move on to example number 11 of the chain rule. We have here differentiate y equals to 3x minus 2 multiplied by 5x plus 4 squared. So in solving this, in this case, we have to use this formula. D over dx multiplied by y u multiplied by x and dy over dx equals to dy over du multiplied by du over dx. So since this problem is we can apply the chain rule, we'll just simply use this formula. Since we will just rewrite it 3x minus 2 and 5x plus 4 squared. So let's add it to the formula. 3x minus 2 and the derivatives of 5x plus 4 squared plus 5x plus 4 squared and the derivatives of 3x minus 2. So after that, we'll just simply rewrite it. So bring down 3x minus 2 and the derivatives of 5x plus 4. In this case, we can apply the chain rule. So the chain rule of 5x plus 4 is 2, 5x plus 4 and 5. That's it. And after that, just rewrite it again, 5x plus 4 squared and the derivatives of 3x minus 2. Since we'll cancel out this 2, we have 3. And after that, we'll just simply multiply the whole numbers. So 5 times 2 is 10. And after that, we'll just rewrite it 3x minus 2 and 5x plus 4 plus 5x plus 4 squared times 3. And after that, we'll just solve this one and this one. So after that, 3 times 5 is 15x squared and 3 times 4 is 12x positive 12x and 2 times 5 is 10x. So simple to siya, 10x, negative 10x, and negative 2 plus 4 is negative 8. So since the is negative, is unlike terms, negative 10 plus 12 is positive 2x, and after that, let's just plus square root of 5x. I mean 5x squared is 25x squared plus since 5 times 4 is we have 20x and plus 16 only, and since we also have 20x again, that is 40x plus 40x multiply by 3. After that, we'll just multiply it. So 10 times 15x squared is 150x squared plus 10 times 2 is 20x minus 10 times 8 is negative 80 plus 25x times 3, we have 75x squared, and 40x times 3 is 120x, and 16 times 3 is 48. So after that, we'll just simply solve the same same variables. Okay. So 158x squared plus 75x squared is 225x squared. And after that, we have 20x and 120x. That is 140x. And after that, the whole number. So we have negative 80 and 48. So that is negative 48 minus 80. So it's unlike terms, and 48 is that is negative 32. And since this is the answer, that is simply that is just this simple only to find the answer of this problem of two binomial. That's all. So now let's move on to example number 12. We have here differentiate y equals 5 over square root of 2x plus 3. So in this case, we can apply the chain rule for the chain rule. So in applying the chain rule, we have to consider this one, and it is not sarap eh, one more. Sige lang, tuloy ko lang. Okay lang. Ha?
Hindi ko kinat.
So now let's move on.
Practice mo na muna. Practice na. Basta tuloy-tuloy.
And now let's move on to example number 12. Differentiate y equals 5 over square root of 2x plus 3. So in this case, it is in radical form. So in the chain rule, we have to consider this one, ax raised to n, this one. And since this problem is not like this, we have to change it in here first. So how can we do that? So let's just use exponential. So 5 over 2x plus 3 and 1/2. So it is in exponential form. And after that, we'll have to move it upward. I mean in the numerator. So in that case, 5 and 2x plus 3. Since we move it from numerator, the exponent will be negative 1/2. So after that, so since this one, it's the same. A is 5, x is this one, and n is 1, negative 1/2. So we can apply the chain rule in this one. So the first thing we do is we can apply this chain rule using this formula, en times n minus 1 and derivatives of x. So let's rewrite it from here. Negative 1/2 times 5 and 2x plus 3 and negative 1/2 minus 1 and the derivatives of 2x plus 3. So since let's just rewrite it. Negative 1/2 times 5 is negative 5 and 2x plus 3. So negative 1/2 minus 1, when we change it in 1, it is a mixed fraction. So if we change it, it is negative 3 over 2. So in this case, negative 3 over 2. And after that, in this case, derivative of 2x plus 3 is 2. You write it again. Negative 5 times 2x plus 3 raised to 3 negative 3 over 2. And we can also, or 5 over 2x plus 3. Since this exponent, we can express this in this form. Negative, 2x plus 3. Negative. So the answer is negative 5 and times 2x plus 3 raised to negative 3 over 2, or 5 over 2x plus 3 and square root of 2x plus 3. That is the answer.